The law of naming, as revealed through the spiritual philosophy associated with Florence Scovel Shinn, operates on the profound metaphysical premise that every word spoken by a human being is not merely sound, but a command sealed with identity, vibration, and authority. And this law teaches that money is not an inert object, but an obedient energy that responds instantly to the identity you assign to it and the name you call it by. For when a person speaks about money, whether with fear or faith, with lack or abundance, with resentment or reverence, they are in fact defining the energetic character through which money will interact with their life. And so the law of naming declares that money takes shape according to the story you narrate about it, the label you place upon it, and the emotional frequency embedded in your speech. Because the universe responds not to what you desire in silence, but to what you confirm through your spoken naming. And in this sense, to say money flows to me, money avoids me, money is difficult, money is loyal, or money is my divine supply is not casual language, but a decree that programs your subconscious mind, calibrates your energetic field, and commands money to obey you exactly as named. And the metaphysical reason behind this is that the subconscious mind, which Florence Shinn often described as the fertile soil of experience, accepts every word as law, every phrase as instruction, and every repeated sentence as identity. And once the subconscious accepts a name, it must manifest it outwardly in the visible world, meaning that the law of naming is actually the law that converts invisible vibration into visible financial outcomes. And this is why people who constantly call money hard, scarce, evil, stressful, or temporary unconsciously command it to behave accordingly, while those who call money divine substance, faithful, abundant, a friend, or an obedient servant of good activate a completely different financial pattern, one in which money begins to move toward them rather than away from them. Because naming is not description, naming is creation, and creation is the core of spiritual law. So when Florence Shinn teaches that your word is your wand, she means that the name you give to money is the magic that shapes its behavior. And the degree to which you speak with clarity, faith, and certainty determines the speed with which money rearranges itself to fulfill your decree. For money has no will of its own. It only mirrors the inner decree of the individual. And the more consistently a person names money with honor, gratitude, and expectation, the more rapidly money reorganizes itself to take the path of least resistance into that person's life. Because the law of naming does not operate on the basis of effort or struggle, but on the basis of identity. And identity is spoken through words that the subconscious takes as sacred. And once the subconscious holds a new name for money, it adjusts emotions, behaviors, intuitions, opportunities, choices, and even outer circumstances to match the spoken identity. Which is why the law of naming is one of the fastest ways to transform a person's financial reality without waiting for external factors to change. Because the moment you rename money, you reprogram your relationship with it at the deepest metaphysical level, and the universe must deliver according to that new name. For the universe cannot resist the vibrational authority of a spoken word backed by belief. And when a person begins to speak about money with reverence, calling it a divine supply that moves toward them with ease, joy, and certainty, they stop resisting money unconsciously and begin inviting it consciously. And then unseen channels begin to open, unexpected opportunities begin to appear, intuitive guidance becomes clearer, the fear-based emotional charge dissolves, financial destiny accelerates, and money begins to flow in ways that seem miraculous, but are simply the result of the law of naming operating without obstruction. Because each word is a seed, and each seed contains the full potential of the harvest it names. And so the spiritual mastery of money begins not with effort, business, or strategy, but with the decision to rename money according to truth rather than fear, abundance rather than lack, confidence rather than anxiety, and alignment rather than desperation. For the one who names money as obedient to their words becomes the master of their financial world, while the one who names money as difficult becomes enslaved by the very energy they misnamed. And thus, the law of naming is one of the most powerful, overlooked, and transformative metaphysical principles that demonstrates how money obeys the vibration of your speech long before it ever shows up in your bank account. And once a person realizes that naming is destiny, they understand that wealth is not pursued but commanded, not chased but called, not earned through suffering but welcomed through identity. And this identity is spoken through the names you choose and the words you repeat. For to speak is to assign function, to name is to invoke power, and to declare is to create the financial world that must obey your voice.